Hitman. I'm obsessed with Hitman. I just saw at PAX. I don't know if this is news. We weren't sure that they said that the season 1. It says full season 1 coming January 2017, which means that's, I guess, when the final.
This was announced 2 days ago.
Okay, so fairly new news, which is cool. So that means there's, I guess, 2 more episodes. Yeah, man, this game is super good. I think I mentioned this on last week's podcast, but holy crap, I've been obsessively playing it, and it's an amazing game. It's basically become fully realized enough to make a kind of qualitative judgment on it now, where when it launched, it was this kind of weird experiment.
Yeah.
And it wasn't totally clear what it would be. So it's funny, the saga of this game, or the story of this game, starts, I think, with E3 2015, I guess. Because I did an interview with the creative director or design director, one of the high-up guys at I.O., and they did it was just a hands-off fly-through of the Paris level, which is the kind of first level that they released.
Hands-off fly-through? What does that mean?
It was just, he had it on a PC.
Okay.
And I sat down with him. This is an interview.
Let's fly.
And yeah, the camera was just a free camera. It was
literally flying through. Okay.
Yeah, and the whole point of the preview was basically to say, we know people didn't like Hitman Absolution and really like Blood Money, and we're going to make a game that's more like Blood Money. And so he's like, it's going to be these cool sort of high-class affairs that you get to attend, and you're going to be able to just walk around without having to sneak. And it's just going to be about you and your target in this big sandbox and all these creative options. And then he just flew through the level and showed all these different things you could do with the AI. He would say, if you leave a gun lying here, the guard will see it and go pick it up and take it, and he'll go and carry it all the way to the security office and deposit it, and you can actually follow him. And he was showing me all this stuff, and it was all very like all the right things. Like that was my headline, was like the Hitman creative director is saying all the right things. Yeah, because it was very.
It's a very Kotaku headline.
Yes, it was, and it was true. And I remember feeling, okay, I'm pretty looking at this level and hearing what this guy is saying. I'm pretty confident in this. But then they announced I think even then they had announced that it was going to be this episodic game.
Right, and nobody knew what they were.
Basically, there was a question of what is this going to be cool? Like, is this going to work? Because at the beginning there's only one level, and then the second level was Sapienza, this Italy level that was really, really, really good. Like probably the best Hitman level ever, and it was super good. Wow. And everyone it was said basically, okay, this is good. This game is good. But there was still that kind of question of, is this ready? Is this early access? What is this? Because no one has ever done this with a AAA game like this before. Like, that isn't a Telltale style adventure game that is episodic.
Right.
And so what's cool is there is a story, and each new mission has a story mission where it's just like another Hitman game. There's 2 people that you kill, and then at the end a cutscene kind of plays that's indicating there's some sort of overarching story.
The story is you were trying to figure out how the Hitman pricing works.
Right. Hitman is trying to figure this out, and there's like a shadow cabal working to undermine him because they don't want him to know. And then at the end you find the
CEO of Square Enix, and he's sitting in a big room like in the Matrix, and when Neo finds the architect, he just has his TVs all over the wall.
And 1 million copies of 47 on all the TVs.
Exactly. And he's like, $60.
So you play the story missions, and then your idea is you're supposed to replay the levels because there's a million different ways to kill every target. So you do that for a while, which is really fun because there's a challenges section. You can see, okay, kill this one target there's one, like in the Paris mission, is kill the one target by pushing her over a ledge onto the other target so she lands on him. So then that's a possibility. So you walk into the level thinking, okay, God, like how is that going to happen? And I think you have to trigger a fireworks show to make them both go outside. I think that's the way to do that one. I can't quite remember. So that's cool. And then
this is cool, man. This is so my jam, but I just don't have time to play it.
So the thing that really makes it good is, on top of that, they're regularly releasing content, which is the reason I would tell people to play it now.
Yeah.
There's so much content in this game because they're releasing things called escalations, which are custom made by the developers, and basically in every level there are a whole lot of these kind of unique NPCs. Like in the Paris level, the one I just did there's a cameraman, and he's going around this big fashion show in Paris, and he's going around taking pictures of a model, and they kind of loop the whole ground level, and they just are on a loop, and you have to kill him. So the way the escalations work is,
why can't you just talk to him? Why is it always going to be violence?
This is like, wait, what's the quote? Can you talk to the monsters in Doom? Can you talk to the monsters? Why can't you just talk to your targets? Talk them out of it.
Talk them out of it. Like in Shin Megami Tensei, you can talk to everyone.
Right. You can
just talk every monster out of fighting.
Why can't everything be Undertale? Basically.
Exactly.
It's not called Talkman. Right. It's called Hitman.
That's true.
Okay, so the way this works is the first level of the escalation will be, go kill this guy, this cameraman. And so that's pretty easy. Oh, you have to kill him by accident. So you have to do an accident, which means like the way I was doing it is I would electrocute a puddle that he would walk through, and he would die. And you kind of just, it's like a pretty badass way to kill someone because no one knows it was you. There's no alerts triggered, and you can just walk out.
Sure.
So the first one's really easy.
Imagine this conversation being taken out of context. Like imagine if someone is at our hotel door, like a cop is listening right now. Like, oh yeah, that's the easiest way to kill someone.
So many video game conversations are that way, I find.
Hitman more than
a lot of video game tips are basically how to efficiently or effectively kill people.
But in most of them, it's like, oh yeah, you use your blink ability and then you stab them from behind with a great sword.
There have been times.
This is like you electrocute a puddle and then you wait for them to kill themselves so you don't get caught. It's like literally.
Yeah, I mean it is, and it's a kind of a ghoulish game. I mean it does have that you're mercilessly killing people.
Well, fun times.
Yeah, it is fun though. So the escalation will have 5 stages. So that's the first stage. They're always really easy. Then the second stage is, for this one, is you have to do the accidental death, and the model that he's with cannot be hurt. So that kind of rules out a lot of options. Like you can't blow up a thing next to him because that would hurt her too, and then you fail. So now you have to like figure out a way to do that. Then the next step is you have to do that, and you have to hack a computer that's downstairs, which is like a lot harder because you have to go down there first, and that room is hard to get into.
Are these like the other ones where you can only have one shot at getting them?
So there's no saving. That's actually really important. You can save during the story missions, but there's no saving in these. So you have to do the whole thing. So basically, you're working out a whole routine. You're figuring out, okay, and I had this down to a science on this one, because eventually, so then there's a second cameraman, and you have to kill him, and also not kill. I think he's like a news interviewer, and you can't kill his anchor woman. So you kill 2 guys and hack the computer. And I think there's some other way you have to do it. And there are like the NPCs that are around are more aware of you and can spot you more easily. So it just gets harder and harder and harder, and you have to keep subtly changing your approach.
And so there are a lot of different ways you can do everything.
Yeah, and of course, and you can do them all a bunch of different ways. Yeah. So the effect of this is, first off, the Paris mission in particular and Sapienza, they're the 2 best levels probably of the, I think, 4 or 5 that have been released. There are a ton of these for Paris. There are, I don't know how many, like 15 or something. And each one, I did one all the way to completion. It took me probably like 5 hours because it's hard and it takes a lot of work. So as you do them, you learn the shit out of the level. So then you know everything. It starts to feel almost like an adventure game, or actually like Hitman Go. Which is kind of interesting. The mobile game Hitman Go, which is this very rules-based board game where you're moving in turns and everything is very measured and controlled. Right. In this game, it's very similar because you're moving so precisely. You're going, okay, I walk into this room and I take the screwdriver and then I go up the stairs and I unscrew the thing and then I drop the thing and then I go downstairs and then I walk in here right when that guy goes over there, and it starts to feel like a really measured turn-based thing. So that's all cool, and you can do those forever. They're all really fun, and they're way more fun than the story missions, I think, just because they're more challenging and engaging. But then they're doing these things called elusive targets, which you've seen.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
This is the reason we have. So, but the thing that I've learned now, because I did the most recent one, and it was in Paris, is that the whole point of the elusive target is that if you've been doing all the escalations, you know the level so well that then this like final exam, super difficult, one-shot only thing happens where.
But wait, so if I want to pick up Hitman now, I feel like I've already missed out on so many elusive targets.
I would recommend get it now because it's really fun and it's an event that's happening. I would be shocked if they released the game on disc and as a final product and there weren't another run of elusive targets next year.
Yeah, well, do you think they'll do the same ones?
Yeah, I think that some of them will repeat or with modifiers.
They should really do them every week, just like have a different one every week.
Yeah, I think I'm sure part of it is
like
just
Destiny's Nightfall or something like that.
Yeah, but it's not as simple as just like recycling a strike with different modifiers. These are all bespoke created content.
Right, but that's even more of a reason to not have them being one-time only.
Well, but I think that what's going on is they're making them, as they go. Like, I don't think they had them already.
So I think the way it works, I love the idea that every person can only try them once and then they're gotten for good, but I don't like the idea that it's like only available this weekend. Like, I think when I buy Hitman, I should be able to do any elusive target that has already come out, but I should only have one shot at each one.
No, so I don't agree. I think it works really well.
If when you're gone for a weekend, it's
I think the key is that they just have to be repeating pretty regularly.
I guess so,
maybe a little more regularly.
Sure.
I think there's something really cool to what they're doing. It's unique. It's distinct.
The time thing, but the first part is distinct. The part that is like you can only do this once, that's already distinct enough without also making it a timed event. Timed events bug me because there are often weekends where like I just can't play this weekend, and everyone's like that. Everyone has.
Yeah, I think that is an obvious downside, but I think that the upside of making it a thing that's happening right now that everybody has to go do and the way that it feels like a live online event.
Sure, yeah.
And everybody can communicate and talk, and people all talk about it, and everyone tries it and live streams it at the same time.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That
To me, that makes up for the downside.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It would. I think it would lose something if it were just they were all at once.
Sure.
But I do think they'll repeat them, which is good because there are a lot that I haven't done. And if you do enough of them, you like unlock cool suits.
Man,
and stuff.
you've talked me into playing this game.